One power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, oh, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name.
Good morning. I love that song by Daniel Nahmod, One Power. And those pictures of our construction, it's quite amazing. We really are raising the roof. Hopefully next Sunday, we're tentatively, so stay tuned, we'll put it on our website, but tentatively we will have another outdoor gathering next Sunday if everything comes together, so stay tuned for that. Also, one other announcement. You know, now we're doing so much via video. If any of you that are local in this Western North Carolina area would like to learn about our video and live stream and be willing to volunteer and help with that, just contact us here at the church. But my name is Rev Darlene Strickland, and I'm happy to welcome you this morning. We light this candle in the recognition that there is one power, one flame, one God expressing through every form of life. And so as we're here and I'm here, we light this candle and we recognize that light within you wherever you are. Would you join me in an opening prayer? We give thanks this beautiful day, recognizing that wherever we are an expression of all that is. And so we join together in the remembrance of this, that we may know the truth of who we are. Today, as Rev Cathy Norman joins us and talks about God in the mix, we open our hearts to begin to recognize God in every aspect, in every ingredient of our life. And so for this sacred time together, may we be blessed that we may be a blessing. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Today is week 3, where we're exploring this book by Dennis Merritt Jones, The Art of Uncertainty. And Dennis quotes a Zen proverb that says, "Move and the way will open." Well, today we're going to talk about recognizing the guidance that is always available, our divine connection, and as I said in the prayer, God in the mix. And so to kick us off, we've pulled a video that back in 2018 we had Karen Taylor Good and Stowe Daly with us with a beautiful original song called My Life is a Prayer. Enjoy.
What if a prayer is not a plea, a desperate call with tears that fall on bended knee, but breathing out, breathing in, it's God in me that lives and breathes, my trusted friend. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My thoughts are words that God is saying. My laughter is the sound of angels playing. My life is a prayer that God is praying. What if today I had a chance to move and sway? God leads the way in my life's dance. What if I knew without a doubt, no need to fear, God's right here within, without. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My thoughts are words that God is saying. My laughter is the sound of angels playing. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My thoughts are words that God is saying. My laughter is the sound of angels playing. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My life is a prayer that God is praying. My life is a prayer. Just take a few breaths.
So good. My life is a prayer that God is praying. As I said earlier, we're in week 3 of a series based on this book, The Art of Uncertainty. I love this quote. He writes, "With enough patience, we can learn to trust that we live in a universe that holds unlimited potential for us and is guiding us to that potential 24/7. The same intelligence that gives birth to new stars, to planets, to galaxies, to babies, to roses, that intelligence is waiting to help us give birth to a new idea of what makes life worth living and giving birth to more of our divine potential. Our job is to align with divine presence and stay the course." I say sometimes my job is to get out of my way and to be the way. I had a situation this week where I said, I took the bait. And many of you know what I'm talking about, how do we stay open and out of our own way to be the way? Well, today I have a dear friend and a colleague, Rev Cathy Jean Norman. Kathy and her husband, Steve Blaine, live in Ojai, California. And in the midst of the art of uncertainty, as we talk about aligning with this divine presence, Kathy has a very personal, timely message. And I wanted her to share that with you today. So she's going to be joining us actually from Unity of Santa Barbara. As she talks about God in the Mixx, and Kathy has been a Unity minister for 37 years. And so she's sharing today. Welcome her as she joins us from Santa Barbara. Thank you, Kathy, for being here.
Thank you, Reverend Darlene, and good morning, dear friends. What a joy it is to connect with you in this way. Today, I would like to talk to you about 2 little words that are basic to our Unity teachings. 2 little words woven into human thought can make the difference between success and failure. And when united, these 2 little words, and if you use them on a daily basis, they will create miracles in your life. They are vision words, they are action words, and the words that I'm talking about here today are divine order. Divine order is the name of a spiritual law and a spiritual faculty. It isn't a technique, it isn't a special gift for the privileged few, it isn't for a matter of only the holy can use these 2 little words. No. They are a very powerful spiritual faculty which every person has. And if we begin to exercise it, we shall really, truly experience miracles of always being in the right place at the right time, connecting with the right people, and being in the right situation always. So what is divine order? Order is the capacity in you which causes right connections. It leads you to the proper sequence and unfoldments in your mind, in your body, in situations, in your life affairs. It creates synchronicity. And synchronicity is the organizing principle of the universe. This is one of my most favorite Unity teachings. So I thought I would begin by telling you a story about me. Ministers love to talk about themselves, so I would like to tell you a true story of how I have come to know about this principle of trusting the synchronicity of life, of trusting divine order, and knowing that divine order is always 24 hours a day at your beck and call, even during uncertain times. So about 2.5 years ago, in January of 2018, I wrote down my New Year's intentions, but that year was different. I wrote down all the categories. You know how we do in our Unity teachings. I wrote down the categories of career, finances, personal relationships, and health. But my intentions were open-ended, without insisting on any kind of an outcome. And instead of dictating and micromanaging the universe of how I wanted everything to happen, I just gave everything up and I said, okay, I know that my human mind is too small to bring these manifestations to pass. And I don't know the hows. The universe knows the how. So I just said, universe, I trust that you have ingenious ways and means of taking care of me and my family. I am now trusting in your synchronicity, in your divine order. Now, this is the deal. When you trust the synchronicity of life, you have to give up things that you never, ever have thought of even giving up, especially control and being attached on insisting that something has got to look a certain way. It must look like this. How many of you have ever been attached to how things must look? Maybe the good-looking mate, or the home in a specific neighborhood, or the friends that are expected to think along the same political lines as you, or maybe family members all getting along. You have this certain expectation. It must look like this. So I decided to just stop all attachment of how things should look in my life. And a couple of months later, I started to get a little restless. I loved my congregation with all my heart. I had been their senior minister for over 15 years, and I loved what I did. And I began to notice that I would give a sermon, and during the whole sermon, I would be like, oh, something is wrong here. I'm no longer enjoying this. And afterwards, I would get in the car after a Sunday service. I'd get in the car and I'd tell my husband, Steve, I'd say, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Something is off. I sought counseling. I begged God for help because I was in divine discontent. But little did I know that synchronicity was at work. So here's the deal. When you trust the synchronicity of life, you will have to give up things that you have been attached to. And it may be uncomfortable. Things that you love, things that you have grown accustomed to, maybe things that you've been emotionally involved with, and belief systems that no longer serve you. So the person that I went to counseling for is a dear friend of mine, and I was observing his most magical life. And I mentioned, you know, it seems like you always get what you need when you need it. Things just magically appear for you. And he said, yep, I am in love with my life. So I asked, well, how do you magically receive things exactly when you need them? People appear either to give you things or lead you to another connection that is precisely what you need when you need it. You're successful in every area of your life. How does that happen? I practice the law of attraction, but what are you doing? You're doing something more. What is that? And he said, well, I just gave you the biggest clue. And I said, you did? Yes. Be in love with your life. When you are in love, he continued to say, when you are in love with all that is, when you are in love with God, then those similar wavelengths will be attracted to you at the perfect time and space. Trust the synchronicity of life, Cathy. Those words were the greatest words that I could live by. I began each day, and I still do every day, to being in love with all that is, to being in love with God, to being in love with my life. And there's a big difference between loving your life and being in love with your life. Loving your life it's a viewpoint, right? You're just, oh, look, I'm loving my life. Being in love means that you are in it. You are in the essence of love, and that high vibration is your natural state. Okay, so let's pause for a moment. I want you to just take a moment, just close your eyes, and tune into a time when you were in love, either with a person or your life or a situation. Just remember that time and just bring it to the forefront of your mind. And remember, people were lovely, everything was going your way, and nothing was going to get you down. Life was so fantastic. Remember that time? Now just allow that feeling to expand, and take that expanded feeling and magnify it by sending that energy to all who are listening to today's lesson. Just magnify it. Send it out to everybody. Ah, doesn't that feel good? It's just been magnified. Okay, you can open your eyes. We have just created a magnified group consciousness of being in love with your life. Now, I want to tell you about my journey and how being in love and trusting the synchronicity of life will put you exactly where you need when you need to be there, and that being in the synchronicity of life will supply you with precisely what you need when you need it. My husband and I, when we travel, we trust the synchronicity of life. It comes easy to us when we travel. Our way of traveling is we get in a car and we just go, and we just take us wherever, or we just go wherever the universe takes us. And we're always amused. So in the fall of 2018, we rented a car in Italy, and we found ourselves on the Amalfi Coast with divine order in place. Serendipitously, we came across a suite at a bed and breakfast with our own veranda overlooking the ocean and with our very own cook. Every morning we would walk out to the veranda only to find all these beautiful homemade pastries strewed along this beautiful table with flowers. It was gorgeous. Now there's something that you need to know about me. I don't eat sugar. Sugar is not my friend. So this wasn't exactly my type of breakfast. And I told my husband, I'm not eating any of this. This is pure sugar. And he said, oh, I am. So he just started to eat away. And he came across an Italian lemon ricotta cake. And he said, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever tasted. And he asked if I could possibly make it sugar-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, keto. Well, when we got home from vacation, I made an Italian lemon ricotta cake that was sugar-free, gluten-free, and it was pretty darn good, if I should say so myself. People that tried it, well, they raved about it. Now, mind you, the universe is constantly giving you breadcrumbs, which is one step that leads to the next step. And then I woke up one Sunday morning in December. Now, mind you, that was the fall of 2018, and then in December of 2018, and then in December 2018, everything inside of me just said, church is no longer yours to do. The church ministry was no longer mine to do. I just really got that. Now, that was a scary bit of guidance for me. At that time, I had been in the ministry for over 36 years, and it was the only thing I knew how to do. It was the only thing I was trained to do. And it was also a contributing source to our income. But remember, trusting in the synchronicity of life means letting go and making room for something that's even better, something that's even greater. So, in January of 2019, I left the ministry, and I had no clue as to what my life was going to look like. And I thought, well, maybe I could sell my Italian lemon ricotta cake at the farmer's market. Somehow, I just knew that this cake was the next step to my future. But I couldn't be attached to the outcome. I had made that deal with the universe not to be attached to the outcome. And here's the deal, my friends. When you get guidance, when you get a nudge, when you have some kind of excitement, then you have to act on it immediately. And I had gotten this nudge that said, Cathy, call your mom and tell her that you're going to send her an Italian lemon ricotta cake. So at once I called my mom and I told her that I was sending her a cake. And she said, oh, well, that's nice, honey. Oh, and by the way, she said, Hope and Tim are coming over tonight for our mastermind prayer group. And since they are foodies, they might enjoy your cake when it gets here. Now, just to let you know who Hope and Tim are, they have been dear, dear friends, family friends for many years, and they're both just brilliant at what they do. They are food brokers, and they have approximately, well, probably over 30 years of taking about 150 products, other people's products, to market. Markets like Whole Foods, Sprouts, QVC, Wegmans, grocery stores all across the country. Hope, she's a genius at marketing and sales, business development. And Tim, he's a food scientist. I think he has like this little extra computer chip in his taste buds so that when he tastes something, he can break it down to its smallest component and recreate that recipe and make it taste even better. Remember, they're foodies, so having a meal with them is like a spiritual experience because you're actually there tasting the food. You know, when was the last time you actually tasted your food and broke it down to the lowest component, if you will? Anyway, so back to my mom. Hope and Tim, they walk in and they mention to my mom that someone had just approached them that day and said, you know, sugar-free keto products are going to be something big in the future. And my mom said, well, I just got off the phone with Cathy. She's sending us a keto lemon ricotta cake. Later that week, they tasted the cake. Hope gets this download of guidance to call me, and she was going to ask me to be her partner in making keto baking mixes. So she calls. She asks, do you want to be my partner? And I said, sure, not really knowing what that meant. But it was a breadcrumb, and it was a big breadcrumb for both of us in the right direction. Remember, one step leads to the next, and the universe already knows how to get you to where you need to be. You don't have to micromanage the universe. It has the bigger picture. A couple of days later, I'm in the car, I'm on the phone, having a conversation with Hope and Tim about what the name of our company should be. And since Tim is a food scientist, I was just curious as to, I'm supplying the recipes, but how do you break it down? How do you break it down into a baking mix, into a box? Well, he would say, Cathy, basically it's a process, right? It's all in the mix. After hanging up from that conversation, I called my mom, still in the car, talking to her on the phone, and I tell her that we need a new name. And I was describing to her my conversation to her about what Tim had mentioned, what's the process? And he would say, Cathy, it's a process. It's all in the mix. And in that moment, I look across the street and there's a new store sign that is going up that said, commingle. It's all in the mix. Oh my God, another breadcrumb. We got our name. You can't get a better sign from the universe than an actual sign. My friends, when you trust in the synchronicity of life, It is a state of grace that the universe has fun with, and you will be amused each step of the way. Now we had our name. It's all in the mix, which to us also meant a gathering together of mixing people from different ethnic groups, all lifestyles, all backgrounds, all ways of thinking, all faiths. It's all in the mix. And that name just meant the world to us. And so we had to get our domain name. We had to register our domain name, but somebody already had it. It's all in the mix with one X. And it was suggested that we use two X's. Well, maybe X means something. It sure does. And this is what I read. X means Christ, as in Xmas, Christmas, right? And I continued to read, but this symbol or marker can also be understood as a crossing over to a higher dimension. Hello? Do you see that when you trust in the synchronicity of life, you don't have to force anything to happen. You don't need to make it happen in any way, shape, or form. You don't have to manipulate anything. Higher mind knows what the physical mind cannot even realize. It knows the hows. So one day, Hope is serendipitously meeting at Whole Foods Market in Miami with the president of one of the largest natural foods marketing companies in the nation. They represent 40% of the products in Whole Foods and in Sprouts. Their name, Presence Marketing. And she is meeting about another product, not ours, it was just another product. When they turn down the baking aisle, and he says, you know what we need? We need a sugar-free, gluten-free, we need sugar-free, gluten-free keto mixes, baking mixes. And with great pride, she just turned to him and said, oh, my business partner and I already have that. Now, mind you, 200 to 300 people who have natural products are clamoring to get with this company to represent them every month. And they only choose a handful, if even that. So now, for us, in that moment, with Hope and the president of Presence Marketing, it was a done deal in that moment. So now we're with Presence Marketing. They represent us. Now I want to bring your attention to something, and that is their name, Presence. Presence. And that was especially important for us since we're a spiritually based company. Yes, the Almighty Presence literally is representing us. So we had our product, we had our name, but how were we going to do this? We did not have enough funds. We put everything we had financially into this company to get it started. Well, that's where Presence Marketing came in. They have this offshoot called Omnipresence that take a few companies each year to financially invest in, and they chose us. They believed in us so much, or let's just say Omnipresence believes in us that much. Since then, we have attracted more investors who just happen to be in this way of thinking. And as a result, every investors meeting starts with prayer. And the investors also keep the products and the company in their daily prayer time. When people buy our products, they are infused with prayer. I would gather to say, maybe not too many companies put prayer and God first. Yes, God is the CEO of this company. Now we launched our products right when the pandemic hit, and we thought, oh no, this is like the worst time to launch a new product. But then we received a call from Presence Marketing saying, "You have got the perfect product at the perfect time. Do you know what the #1 selling items are right now? Baking mixes. Grocery stores cannot keep them on the shelves. People are baking more than any other time in history." And they were right. We're now on Amazon, and we can hardly keep them in stock. We also have our website where we continually sell our products at a rapid pace. And with the help of Presence Marketing, we should be in markets towards the end of this year, and most assuredly in markets across the country next year. Never in my wildest dreams, my friends, would I have imagined myself from being a minister of a church to a business owner with a dear friend of mine. And this is what I have learned, especially during times of uncertainty. Nothing is about trying, because the physical mind does not have the ability to know how something is going to happen. Do you think that you can work hard enough to achieve in a lifetime what the universe can give you in an instant? Only your higher mind knows. Let your higher mind bring you your next steps, your next breadcrumbs, and then make sure to act on them. Today, I want to give you a formula that will elevate synchronicity to an art. #1, as we mentioned before, be in love with life. Be in love with all that is. Be in love with God. Those of similar wavelengths will be attracted to you at the perfect time and in the perfect place. #2, when something manifests, even the smallest of manifestations, stop. Live in that moment, take it in, and acknowledge it. 3, give thanks and appreciate it. Go into that great state of gratitude and just know that gratitude is a very powerful energy. And 4, allow. Just allow. Allow the universe to do its magical work. So if you wish for your life to be more miraculous, if you wish for your life to be more effortless, if you wish for your life to where you're always in the right place at the right time, then all you have to do is allow your life to revert back to its natural state of being in love and working in cooperation with higher mind. And what does that look like? How does one work in collaboration with higher mind? Well, rather than resisting, learn to accept. Rather than fighting, learn to let go and surrender. Rather than fearing, learn to trust. And when you trust, follow your guidance. Yes, my friends, there is divine order in all things. It is the organizing principle of the universe, and it is always working in your favor if you let it. Well, thank you for allowing me to tell my story. It has been a great joy to connect with you in this way. And with that, I would like to turn this back to your most fabulous minister, Rev Darlene.
Thank you, Cathy, for telling that story. I was just so moved when I heard that. Now, I should give a sidebar and say that Cathy will never completely leave ministry. She is now serving in different ways, but to me, she's really living her passion and sharing her gift. And I've seen her life over the years. She truly does live divine order. And I like the way she describes that, the capacity that causes right connection, being in the right place at the right time, the capacity that causes synchronicity. It's like in the Gospel of Matthew that says, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall open. I grew up hearing that scripture and I used to think that it should happen like that. But I've learned that we live in the space, that we spend more time in the space between the asking and receiving. And so she's talking about learning to love life, be in love with your life in that space in between, continuing to ask and receive, seek and find, knock, and have our doors open. I want to anchor what she has shared with us into a time of meditative prayer, and if it's comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. There is an intelligence within us that is the same life intelligence that governs the stars. I often think about the fact that as I stand here, I could say I'm standing still, but really I'm not. I'm standing on a floor upon an earth. And this earth is round, and this earth is in a universe, and we are all moving, all in synchronistic relationship. There's an orderliness that is holding this world in balance. And that very same life energy, that orderliness, is right now animating my life. It's animating your life. As we live in this time of uncertainty, as we make right moves and as we make missteps, mistakes, we have the capacity to start anew by allowing ourselves to realize the newness of every breath, of every moment. We open to this divine orderliness, the divine order, this creative capacity to be aright. You know how things right themselves, they find the right balance. We live in a place of harmony and balance. We find that state of rightness. And individually, whatever is going on in your life, wherever you are asking and seeking and knocking, we know that the answer, as Jesus said, the answer is there even before you ask. And so our asking and seeking and knocking is to align us, it's to position us to now attune. What we sometimes call miracle is simply the right thing showing up at the right time to meet the need. In this time of uncertainty, in this time of endings and beginnings, we open our heart to right direction. May we be guided. May we be led. The capacity that causes right steps. The capacity that allows us to course correct as we go. The capacity that allows us to make those synchronistic connections. The breadcrumbs along the way. This week, may we bring mindfulness to the many ways that we are guided, to the many synchronicities that happen in our life. And may we let go of any part of us that is trying to force it, and any ways where we have perhaps given up and we're trying to push through ourselves. It's not that we don't do our part, but it's that we do our part being totally aligned with the power of love and light and truth and divine order. We give thanks in the recognition that there is one God, all that is, and that all that is God is holy, and that we in spirit are an expression of all that is, and in body we are bringing that realization to life. God is in the mix. God is in the moment. God is within me, and God is within you. And for this sacred time together, we are truly grateful. Thank you, God, and so it is. I want to thank you, my friends, for being here. Again, I want to I keep looking up because I see Cathy on the big screen, but I want to thank you, Cathy, for joining us, and Unity of Santa Barbara for helping us make that connection today. I also want to thank Donna and Acela and Tia, who are here with me today. And each of you, we still have your pictures around, and it just feels so warm. As I said earlier, tentatively, we're planning to have an outdoor service at 9:30 next Sunday, but stay tuned. We'll confirm that or not and let you know when the next one will be. Either way, our live streams will stay steady at 11 o'clock. As we end our time together this day, we have a couple of things for you. Our board president, Ellen Winter, we have a donkey video, and then we're going to wrap it up with a song by Cat Williams and our Unity Band, a song about our 5 principles by Aaron McGawkin. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Here's Ellen.
Hi, Ellen Winter, reading from The Wisdom of Donkeys by Andy Merrifield, and today it's a spa day for the donkeys, and farrier Jamie Gash is here taking care of the donkeys and giving them their pedicures. And what Andy Merrifield writes is, donkeys' hooves are fascinating things when you think about them, when you inspect them carefully. Different from horses, littler, daintier, steeper, like baby feet. But those baby feet are tougher and more elastic than any horses. For that reason, donkeys essentially walk barefoot in the park. They don't normally need to be shod, don't normally wear blacksmith-made shoes. What they're walking on is all natural, all skin and bone and organic tissue, like horn, tiny spiral horn tubules, or like human toenails, which get long unless they're cut regularly. Foot hygiene is vital for a donkey, just as an athlete's foot and ingrown toenails aren't much fun for us. It's one reason why donkeys aren't keen on very hard surfaces or paths with lots of rough, tough stones. It's also why foot problems are pretty common. To ensure good foot growth, hoof growth, blood circulation, and regular expansion are necessary. This means keeping mobile, doing adequate amounts of walking. Experts say that to maintain natural hoof growth, donkeys should cover around 10 miles a day on reasonably firm surfaces. They say that donkey hooves have naturally adapted to movement, to keeping busy. Sedentary donkeys, just like sedentary humans, aren't usually the healthiest. Of course, if they don't walk 10 miles a day, then they need a farrier. And if the farrier doesn't trim a domesticated donkey's feet every 10 weeks or so, they'll keep growing and growing. He'll skillfully cut up the frog, clean everything out, soil and mud and stones, and balance the hoof. This is like balancing the wheels of a car to ensure smooth flow and equal wear and tear of the tires. Balancing a donkey's hooves will center the animal's weight distribution, verify the symmetry of its gait, and ensure proper shock absorption. Wishing you balance in your day this week.
One, two, three, four, 5. So we're going to sum them up into a song. Now listen to me, because then you're going to follow along. Here we go. God is good, good in everyone. And a thought can change your water into wine. Prayer and meditation make it easy to feel, but you gotta walk the talk to make it real. Yeah. You ready for it? God is good, good in everyone. And the thought can change your water into wine. Prayer and meditation make it easy to feel, but you gotta walk the talk to make it real. Yeah. Play on, Richard. Keep it real. Yeah. God is good, good in everyone. And the thought can change your water into wine. Prayer and meditation makes it easy to feel, but you gotta walk to make it real. Woo! Are we hearing that? Are we feeling that in here? Make some noise in this house, y'all. God is good, sing it loud, good in everyone. And the thought can change your water into wine. Prayer and meditation makes it easy to feel, but you gotta walk the talk to make it real. Walk the talk, ha. Go walk the talk, yeah. Make it real. Principles, oompa. My principles, oompa. My oompa. Say it with me. Oompa. My principles. My principles. Walk that walk. Talk that talk. Make it real. Make it real. Gonna make it real. Gonna keep it. Gonna keep it, gonna keep it real. Walk that walk, oh, I'm gonna talk that talk. Keep it opa, opa, opa.